because it takes us a lot of time and effort to differentiate those patients from the other patients who have serious things going on. And so kind of a problem with the current telemedicine solutions I've seen so far is that you can't really get a full set of vital signs, and you can't get you can't do a physical exam. So, I think the wearable sector or new tools people could use that would check their all their vital signs and upload them through their computer into whatever telemedicine platform is being used, I think that could really help out a lot. If I could see someone over the camera, if I could see their full vital signs and trust that those vital signs were taken properly, even without a physical exam, I think I could provide some good service over the video conference.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of leads me into my next question. What other care facilities or locations will patients go to instead of going to the ED?
Sure. So, I think there's this growing industry of telemedicine providers. So I think that could offer a lot of care for people who don't need to be physically seen. And then there's also a variety of urgent care places. There are freestanding emergency rooms or emergency departments in my area. The two that I can think of offhand are both, I believe they're owned by a larger hospital in their respective areas. So if a patient goes to that freestanding emergency department and needs to be admitted somewhere, they would automatically be transferred to that parent hospital. And the branding is the same too. So it has the name of the corporation that owns that hospital as well on that freestanding emergency room. I see in the worksheet you sent, you mentioned BH facilities. I wasn't sure what that meant, what BH was.
Behavioral health facilities.
Okay, got it. Behavioral health. So that, I guess, is another one of our pain points that I didn't mention. Since our hospital doesn't have inpatient psychiatry, anytime we have a patient with a psychiatric complaint, which happens, I would say on every shift, at least 2 to 3 times per shift, it creates kind of a real challenge for us in how to get them. If they need to be admitted somewhere, it has to be a transfer to another facility. And we do have separate staff that we can tap to help us with that process. But often these patients are here for many, many hours in our department, tying up one of our beds that we would otherwise need to help move people from the waiting room into the main department. And, it's just we're not set up to provide the right nursing ratio or the right kind of services these people need. So we kind of do a medical clearance for them in terms of some basic blood work to make sure that this is psychiatric, not a medical delirium or, a side effect of them having an infection or something like that. But short of that, we're not really doing much for them. So sometimes I wish there could be a different type of facility where these patients could be directed to right away. So for example, if they're coming by ambulance, they could go directly to a facility that has inpatient psychiatry services and maybe an intake unit where that medical clearance is done by a physician before they're transferred to the psychiatry team. I think also there's a big problem in getting people outpatient care as well. So once we clear them in the emergency room, maybe we decide they don't have to be committed to a psychiatric unit, but in order to get them proper follow-up, that's very variable depending on location. So in the county where I live, there is a facility that they can go to run by the county, which offers psychiatric services and evaluations. But I think in a lot of other places, there's no great place for an uninsured person with a psychiatric disorder to get adequate follow-up. And I think that's a big problem because it's, it's a public safety issue and it's also a safety issue for that individual person as well. But yeah, I would hope that there are other models that are being developed to kind of help flow some of these patients not through the emergency departments, but through other pathways.